Crowding out serves as one of the main critiques of fiscal policy. Let's cover that now. What's the typical y equals c plus I plus g expansionary fiscal policy multiplier story in a Keynesian setting? Answer: a little change in g creates a big change in y, or our output and aggregate demand. How do we implement expansionary fiscal policy in this way? Well, we go into a deficit. If we need expansionary fiscal policy, we need to move to a deficit. To finance a deficit, holding the money supply constant, what do we need to do? Well, we have to borrow some money. Are there any potential problems with this? If the government adds to those wishing to borrow, do we see any other changes in microeconomic markets, like, say, the loanable funds market? The crowding out theory says yes. Demand in the loanable funds market will increase because the government adds to those wishing to borrow. They are an additional demander in this market. As we add an additional large demander in this market, demand increases and the interest rates go up. What do higher interest rates do according to the classical model, the standard aggregate supply, aggregate demand model in macroeconomics? Higher interest rates, when we add them, drive down aggregate demand by reducing large-scale consumption purchases and investment. Thus, we get the crowding out effect. We increase G, but we cause interest rates to then go up, which causes investment to go down and some consumption of large-scale purchases to go down. This is the crowding out effect. The crowding out effect indicates that increased borrowing to finance a budget deficit, which is what you would do if you were doing expansionary fiscal policy, that this increased borrowing will push real interest rates up, and it will retard private spending, like buying a house or other investments, reducing the stimulus effect of that expansionary fiscal policy. It will move in the opposite direction some. So we have y equals c plus I plus g. While g may be going up, c and I could be going down, and then therefore aggregate demand does not move as much as we would hope. The implications of the crowding out analysis are actually symmetrical. This isn't discussed very much, but a small point that should be noted. Restrictive fiscal policy would reduce real interest rates and crowd in private spending, causing a limitation to our restrictive fiscal policy. However, the crowding out effect is very important for these discussions of fiscal policy. Do we actually engage new resources and bring them to the table, as the Keynesian fiscal policy theory suggests, that we're moving unemployed resources to being employed and thus actually moving aggregate demand out, actually moving the economy forward? Or are we just stealing from what the private sector would have already done? Expansionary fiscal policy will have little or no effect, according to the crowding out theory, because borrowing to finance the budget deficit pushes up those interest rates and thus causes a reduction in private spending, particularly investment. As long as the interest rates respond some, the crowding out idea will at least partially offset and impact our limitations to fiscal policy.